me, I mean, Teresa, you'll have a different answer, but for me, working with my husband has had its ups and its downs. So it's been, what's been really wonderful is to have shared vision, to actually have a lifetime of work together. That for me has been absolutely fantastic. So although we have butted heads and everybody has watched us butt heads on occasions, it's been fantastic. So I would highly recommend this to other people. If you can hold the tensions, it's been really great. It's been great for us. So thank you. Yeah.
Oh, so much to say, but I'll try and do it quick. Basically, Graham's more than a boss. When you employed me 20 odd years ago, more than a boss, a father figure. The reason I'm still here, the reason I'm still standing, because it's been a journey and a half, and he's walked my ups and downs with me. They've walked ups and downs with me, so it's been incredible.
Yeah, sure. Incredible. I mean, this might sound very random because there have been so many bigger things in the school, but it's a very small thing actually. But I remember the day Graham introduced Mishka to the school.
She took it out of she took my story.
But I just remember that being a day when, for me, it was the humaneness of Graham wanting to sort of bring the human factor of just a dog to the struggling children at school, and just to add to the school ethos. So that's a very small thing, but it was great. It was a great day. So it was a happy day. Yeah.
It was my story. It was the day he told us we were getting a school dog. And I just saw again, it's so sort of out there, but at the same time how wonderful and inspirational, and where he got the idea for it. And just that he cares so much that he was prepared to get a school dog for us. And it's something that we all are very grateful for. Extremely grateful. I mean, we see Mishka every day, and it's one of the most joyous things in the day. Funny, that is exactly what I was saying.
So there have been many times when Graham and I have disagreed in exec. We do it often. The people around the table, they laugh at us. It's like watching a tennis match sometimes. But that was one of those times, because he said, I think we want to get a school dog. I said, Jim, you're just crazy. What are we going to do? Who's going to go? And I gave all the negatives, but it's just been something beautiful. Mishka's been something beautiful for us, and it's just added a dimension. So as random as that might be, when there's so many other things, yeah. I think what I'm really going to miss is the shared. It's been like raising a child together, and I'll be here. I'll continue. Graham won't. I'll really miss the shared responsibility. Being able to just bounce things off and discuss things together, envisage together. I'm really going to miss that. But I know we're in really good hands going forward, and just know it's going to be amazing. But just what we've shared together in creating, I'm going to miss. Yeah.
I'm just going to miss everything. Just that open door policy of being able to go in there, no matter what you're going through, where you've been, and if you've made a mistake, which has happened a few times over the years, that you go in there and you're not scared. You don't feel like you're going to be in trouble, because he's just got a way of doing things with people, and his heart for people. And I think that's the biggest thing, his heart, his concern. He has walked with me and my children through journeys, huge journeys. And so I don't want to get emotional now, but I am seriously going to miss him a lot.
It was absolutely marvelous. I think he's the best boss ever. His kindness, his servant heart is something I really look up to. He's been an amazing boss, and servant heart. He makes me coffee in the mornings when I get to school. How nice is that? So he's got a real servant heart. I think
Where will you find a CEO who brings you coffee and popcorn on a busy day?
Yes. No.
Do I need to say more?
No.
And besides his servant heart, he's an amazing leader.
Yes.
He'll always want to help somebody else at any cost. If he sees a gap, he'll want to fill it.
And Graham's got this amazing ability of being persistent, and he never gives up. I'll give you an example. Graham found this nurse who was at the crossroads. Should you go back to nursing? Should she be a stay-at-home mom? And he offered me a job as a receptionist and I know nothing about admin. I had a PA, by the way, and he kept going, and he only highlighted the positive aspect of the job, namely school holidays, and he was persistent until I said yes.
My fondest memory is when my husband, Dale, was on the PA, and we never got to do a carnival with the family. And Graham and Debbie took us to Galway City for the day. Oh my word, we laughed and laughed, and we had such fun. And his kindness through that day to myself and my family is just beyond words. It was really good. Thank you, Graham.
I think my fondest memory is when I was here before, not as his PA, but 14 years in the finance department. I worked with Graham doing debtors, getting the money in, which is a very difficult talk. We had very difficult conversations. But my memories with him is we had so much fun. We laughed through it all. We never got angry. I don't know, all those meetings, I can't give much detail, but it was, we had, that's where I get to know him, in those meetings.
Amazing.
My fondest memory of Graham is during breaks when I have all my patients, my little babies sitting around waiting for me, and Graham is like, "Do you want hot chocolate? Do you want to go to the bathroom? Who's your mother? What's your father's name?" And just listening and watching him interacting with the babies to the matrix, that was like it's such a special moment for me.
We have a lot of things we're going to miss about him, but I think his kindness, his wisdom, his
Sense of humor.
sense of
Yes.
humor,
Really cool.
always being the same. He's not a up and down person. He's
Yeah, he's constant, and you always know what to expect. He will always be kind. He will always find a way. He will always be so kind.
And being present in our lives.
yes.
He's always asking about our families, and he's always asking about, are you okay?
Yes.
And he senses at times that we're not okay, and he's like, "Can I do anything? Would you like to talk about it?" But for a busy executive principal to notice me, one person that's not doing well, that's
It's
volume.
special.
Just won't be the same without him.
No. There's one.
Definitely.
I have to say this. Graham was my son Carl's primary school principal in Pietermaritzburg. He was my Katie's executive principal, and now he's my grandbaby's executive principal.
Got all
And
two
I'm
children.
so honored that I'm so glad I left Pietermaritzburg to come so Graham could be part of my daughter and my grandson's life.
Two farewells then.
Oh,
you've been through.
I was part of Graham's first farewell when he relocated from Pietermaritzburg. So I feel honored to be part of his second farewell.
Wow.
So Graham, I'm waiting when you are here to be part of my farewell.
Okay, you better come.
You better come.
All of us.
Yes, all of us.
Yeah.
Me first.
Okay, I would say that it was Lacko. He's a good guy, fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's nice to work with someone that you know cares for you genuinely and loves you. So, and has your best interests at heart. So it's like you come to work knowing that you're like sheltered and protected. And yeah, and he's funny. He likes to make Baptist jokes because I'm a Baptist. But it's nice. It's like it feels like a safe environment you're landing into. So he's a safe person. Yeah.
You know, it's nice to have someone to work for that you know is oprecht, who what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And he's always everywhere, so you see him a lot.
One of my first memories of Graham was when I started working here. I think I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. I was a new teacher, first time ever teaching anywhere, and there was a car park, mom situation that used to hold morning conferences, around the young teacher that I am, the new teacher that I am, and actually two stories. And then I remember how he stood up for me. I was only here for like 3 or 4 months. Like, it was my first job. Actually, that's the first thing. He took a chance on a person like me. Like, my first job ever was here. And he stood by me and he was like, listen, this belongs to me. not like this one belongs to me. And he, even the conference of the moms, he made sure that that thing ends, and then stuck by like his decision. He's like, I've employed who I've employed, and I stand by my staff, and I think that's always stuck with me, and I think that's why it contributes to even my first answer to say I feel protected, like working with Graham, because he will go the extra mile. I remember also there was another dad who was a big shot lawyer, who also was trying to, throw his weight around, and Graham is not afraid to just say, listen, I don't care what money you bring into the school, but like these are my people, and I'm gonna guard my people with everything I have, and that's contributed to how I feel when I'm in his presence, and actually allowing me the freedom to just be me and do my job and not feel like, tomorrow it might come to an end or whatever. So those are just, amongst many, but those stick out for me, because it's like you took a chance on a person you didn't know, and he put his all to say, this is it, and this is where I end, so yeah.
I can remember when I had to resign from my previous job. I just was offered this job, and I got a message in the morning. For me, in a school environment, with any boss, it's weird if a executive head messaged you. And I can remember somewhere, I think 6 o'clock in one morning, I got a message while I was still in the previous school saying, hi Christine, I don't want to force you to make a decision, but I am praying for you. And I realized, oh, wow, this is just, it's not every day that you get a boss that will literally welcome you back and pray for you. And I can remember signing my contract where the desk was too far, and the next note he goes on his legs next to the table signing the contract. It's just like, whoa, what's happening here? I thought it was a formal thing. So I think for me the best memories is his fondness for his people around, and knowing he's got our back, and with parents meetings that could have gone very, very far, he just stayed neutral, and I knew whatever was happening there, like you said, he's got our back, and that's just very heartwarming.
I remember one more thing. He's, like you say, he's unconventional. He offered me a job on a Sunday evening. He called me at 9:30 to 10 to say, listen, you got the job. I don't think lots of people do that. Like,
No,
I remember getting that phone call. I'm like, Graham, like, oh dear, I've just met a Graham like last week, and then now you're calling me at 9:30. In the evening,
and he makes those calls.
Sunday in the evening, he called me. And I'm like, okay, well, this is an unconventional way of doing things, but yeah. I'm gonna miss his Baptist jokes because he's always making fun about the fact that I'm a Baptist. Well, actually, if you're a Baptist, shame. He always has jokes about us. I don't think he takes us seriously, but whatever. And then I said this also to him, and if you ask Graham how's he doing, he always has like one line that he always says. He goes, I'm fine. So I'm definitely mishearing that, like, how are you doing? I'm fine, so I miss hearing that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to miss his presence. Just randomly seeing him walking around and meeting the little ones and literally just bonding with them. And then you look at him and say, okay, that's fine. That's nice. I think I'm going to miss that, seeing him around. And then, of course, him trying to speak Afrikaans to me, or trying to convince me to not call him sir, but Graham. So that's Mr Holloway. So no.
Yeah. We will miss lots of things, but like, that's just
what stands out.
One or two things.
I've been working at the school for about 10 years now, and it's been absolutely amazing working with Graham. He's got such a generous heart, such a kind heart, and he's been amazing with us pre-primary ladies. He's got a heart for the little children and for us as staff, and I think that's what I would say. And it's just amazing.
Yeah. I haven't been around for very long, but one thing he does carry with him is this extreme sense of calm. Like just this peace follows. And I think that's very comforting. And he always take the time out to be like, hey, how are you doing? If he walks past, everything fine. So it's just that he's got that calm aura about him. It's very
That's good. That's good.
And I have worked out. I've been a locum here for 8 years. And so I've seen Graham in the corridors and the here and the there. So not in a particular field or in a particular place, but I think what stands out for me, what means so much to me, is how I follow him as an example of a brave and courageous person.
Yeah.
And he's just been so amazing to us as a family personally. And he's just consistently good and kind. But I particularly get inspired by his brave, courageous spirit.
And his wisdom. He's got so much wisdom to share, and his willingness to share. Because you'll often find people who don't, they close up, they don't share.
Graham, you will remember, it's not quite a memory, but you always remind me of my inchworms. So I hope there are many inchworms in your time of retirement. Yes.
Inchworms,
Yeah.
okay.
Not even gonna.
No.
Yeah.
I can't think of one that just rolls off the top of my head right now.
Again, mine is more on a personal level, in that Debbie and Graham once came to spend a weekend with us at the Vaal at the dam, and we went on a boat ride, and then we stopped, got off the boat and had an ice cream together, and we just had great time of chatting and fellowship, and I will always remember that weekend. It was cherished. All those character traits we just said, the wisdom, the inspiration. For me, the inspiration and the voice that goes, "Hello, Ma'am Tam." Thank you to James Pinchers, who started the Ma'am Tam, and it wasn't long before everybody got to end. So when Graham calls me Ma'am Tam, I almost want to bow.
I think just his willingness to want to, or take the time out to get to know each and every single individual. I mean, it's a big school, and I'm sure his plate is extremely full, and just he takes the time to get to know you, and it's awesome.
And I also just think he's as a father figure,
Yeah.
and he's just enveloped our family, and how he loves my children and my family so much, and I'm gonna miss his presence as a father figure.
Yeah, and again, I just want to thank you, Graham, for just what you've meant to Darby, how you've come about him, how you've supported him, held his arms up, constantly checking to see how he is. You and Debbie have just been amazing to us and the Thomases as a family, and I will always be grateful for that. And can I share the scripture then? Yes. When I thought in preparation of this video, what came to mind was the Bible speaking about the grey-headed people, and Proverbs 16, and I want to just read this to you. Grey hair symbolizes honor, wisdom, and a life lived righteously. Verses like Proverbs 16:31 state that grey hair is a crown of glory or splendor attained through living a life of righteousness. And so, Graham, it's by far not over. You are entering a new season with your grey hair, and us with the grey hair that should be retired. The Lord still has plans and purposes, and I just pray, or almost want to say prophetically to you, that which is still to come, and I know you have a couple of plans in the pipeline, that which is still to come be better than the former days. May the season ahead be more blessed, more full of God's favor and provision, in a more restful manner.
So it's been interesting working with him, because I was in the school as a pupil since grade naught. So when I came for my interview, he was like, "No, it's Graham now." And I was like, "I can't. He will always be Mr. Holloway in my mind, and he'll always be my principal, not my boss, but my principal." So it's been a fun development on how to now see him as Graham and not Mr. Holloway. I can't say I'm fully there. He'll always be Mr. Holloway to me, and that's what I love about him. He's just always going to be my principal.
So it's also, it's the same with me. I'm also a student here, and then I'm also doing some stuff for him as well. It's hard.
No, I can't.
So I get you. And then your fondest memory?
My fondest memory was in junior primary. We were doing the inter-house cross-country, and a friend and I were running, and Mr. Holloway approached us from behind, so we're all jogging together, the three of us. Then my little friend pipes up and she says, "So there's something written on the back of your shirt." So he turns and is like, "What does it say?" So I look at him and I read the shirt. apparently, and he asks what it says, and I say, no, it says hurry up. So I inevitably told the principal of the school to hurry up in the race because he's not doing it fast enough. And what I appreciate about that is Mr. Holloway, like, he always remembers that story. He always tells it. He loves to tell people the story. And that's what I appreciate about him, is he's such a father figure. You know how a dad would always just tell the same funny story about their child the whole time. And that's what I always found with him, with this specific story, is he loves to share that story with people. And that's how he like introduced me to other people as well. When I came to teach it, I was like, oh, Gabby did this and this. So I think that's very special. It was a funny little story that continued and followed me now through my teaching here. So that was my favorite story, or funny little anecdote with Mr. Holloway. I can't imagine the school without Mr. Holloway. I think that's going to be challenging. Like, he's not always going to be there. We can't just see him. I come very early in the mornings, and then he's there making his coffee, and then I see him in the reception, and he always greets me, and we have a little chat, and he asks me about my family and my personal life, and that's also always really special. So just to not have him around, and to have those little everyday conversations that we've been having, I think that's what I miss the most.
Yeah, listen, as I get older and older, one has the opportunity to work with many different leaders in many different spaces. And I must say, firstly, definitely just Graham's humility. And I think the other thing that all leaders have to come to terms with is their own sort of ego, their desire to do what they think is good or they think is best. And I must say, I feel like Graham has come to terms with his ego in the most Christ-like way I've seen and imagined. It's really that thing of, John the Baptist, may Jesus increase as I decrease, and it's just such a pleasure to work with somebody that's so down to earth, so genuine, and so deliberately on a mission for the kingdom, I think if I ever heard him complain, it was about something that was keeping him from doing the best for others, which I think is just, amazing quality of a good leader. Listener, probably just Graham's love. I'd say his love is the most authentic, as any person, you never live a perfect life, and you sometimes make mistakes. And I can recall once, making a mistake that wasn't the best of a decision. But what I remember from how Graham handled me and the situation and the decision that I had made has left a deep impression on me, and really felt like he represented, the Father heart of God in a very measured, loving, wise way. And I've definitely will stay with me forever. Just that idea that, God loves me. Very, very, very powerful. Probably his sense of humor. I think that's the only way you can cope with everything life throws at you. And he would often, come into my office or share a funny memory, or a message that he had seen, or some clip from an old British comedy, that he had watched. And it was just hilarious. I just loved his sense of humor, made a lot of sense to me. And I just don't think you can carry all the things that somebody like he carries so graciously, without thrills or fuss, without a good bit of laughter. Probably the other thing, if I could add as well, that I would miss talking to him about is rugby, and Willie LaRue. Always pleasant, catching up with him after a weekend, with regards to the sporting events.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I remember back in 1993, when I started teaching, I always wanted to be here at Hatfield Christian School. I was up in the north of Namibia, and I sent my CV. I can't remember how, in those days, how it worked. I just remember the long letter that I wrote to the school. Nothing happened, but I just always knew back then, I wanted to be a teacher here. And yeah, a couple of years later, the door opened. And in 2001, I started here. Met Graham in the year 2000. It's always been lovely, you know. His office is open, and it's easy to talk to him. He loves people. He works well with people. It's been wonderful. I think it links to the first question or the last bit of the answer that I gave you. I walk into his office and I talk to him, you know. So I had many of those, not too many, but I always felt welcome when I went into his office. You know, I never felt, geez, you're wasting my time. You know, so his office door was open. His policy was a open door policy, and it was great. Something else about Graham, his sense of humor. You know, so I remember his laughter. He would just like, you know, he has this unique laugh, and so my other fond memory about Graham is his laughter. You know, he would just burst out laughing about things that he found funny, and you hear him from a distance. So it was very special. Graham has a gift to handpick people. You know, it's probably, I would think, his best gift. He would pick his staff. He would go find them, and he would. That was something God gave me. Handpicks people for the work here in the kingdom with the Lord. So I miss that. I don't think we we appreciate that too much or enough. But he's I'll miss that about the school. But the school is built on a wonderful foundation. It will go from strength to strength. That's the leadership that he has. What he's left behind will just go even better and better, higher and higher. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think just it's been an experience that I have never experienced before. I came from a school that became corporate driven. It used to have the family feel like Hatfield does, and then it was brought over by corporate. And I just got so used to being a number on a list and on a payroll, and all they focused on was bums on seats. So coming here was a breath of fresh air, and definitely the Lord's doing to get me passionate about teaching again and children.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was a long process to get to this place, to get here. I applied for the job, didn't hear anything, came for an interview, didn't hear anything, and eventually I said I had to give my notice at the previous school, and it was a Saturday evening, and we spoke as a family, and I said, okay, it's obviously not meant to be here. Start work on Monday, so I'm just going to make peace with it and be here and be where I was. And about half an hour later, Graham phoned me and offered me the job. And I was like, oh, Lord, really? So yeah, it's meant to be. I think his genuine care and love that he has for me as a person, for my family, for my children, and obviously me as an employee at the school. So that's just something I'll never forget, that he really cares. My son, something happened at the preschool last year, and I had to rush him off to hospital and just dropped everything and left because it was quite hectic. And he was there within half an hour. I think he got there like 5 minutes after my husband got there. And he was there with a Coke because he knows I like Coke.
Wow.
So yeah, just there and loving and checking on me and my family. His ability to focus and listen to me when there's a problem or an issue or I need advice, and yeah, just pretending, I'm sure, that I'm the only one on his mind and in his frame of reference at that moment, and focusing and advising me, and also just including me in things to expose me to learn, to teach me and to train me for this role that I'm in.
I remember when I first met Graham, he was at Maritzburg Christian School, and I was working for Scripture Union independent schools and traveling around. So I somehow got invited, I forget how, and it was the youngest group of kids I'd ever done anything with. I remember them hanging around my ankles and singing songs, and got to know the Holloways there. And then I left. I didn't see them for 9 years. And then we came into contact when he invited me to apply for this position. And then he encouraged me to come and lead in this situation. And I joined the many other KwaZulu-Natal staff members that came to work here. I always remember Graham to be supportive, caring, interested in people, and it was great to join his team. One of the fondest memories, I think, is in all our interactions and our talks and our discussing things, he used well-chosen metaphors, mostly about rugby or something like that, which was just enabled us to understand each other without having to discuss too much. I think what I appreciate most about Graham is his constant reminder that this is God's school. And he always emphasized team effort, the empowering of us each to live out, God's calling for each of our lives. And I think his legacy is leaving a community of believers and disciples who could have the impact that God intended. Putting his kingdom first, not the kingdom of any man or any other authority. So it's always just been a pleasure to work under those conditions.
Graham, at a time where I felt very unsure about joining teaching again and considered a different career, God actually used you to make known his plan for me. I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to live out my love for children and my love for music at Hatfield. My life is filled with much love and joy. I think one of my earliest memories is that Graham called me to his office. It was very, very early days. So you always feel a little bit summoned when it's the headmaster calling you. And it was so unexpected. I had to sit down and he put his computer in front of me and I had to watch a song. And I wish I could have that song. I think it was actually recorded at Hatfield. And the lady sang just over and over about prayer. Just pray, that's it. And as I look back now over my time at Hatfield, I feel I've sort of discovered or grown into an understanding of what I might contribute from what the seed that was sown in Mr Holloway's office in the very early days. Graham, I want to quote to you from the hymn, God of Grace and God of Glory. God granted you wisdom and he granted you courage for the living of your days at Hatfield. You did not miss God's kingdom goal and you did not fail his call. And we want to thank you for the role that played in our lives personally. Thank you, Graham.
Thanks, Graham.
I would say the best 17 years of my life. I've taught at other schools and Graham makes you feel completely loved. He's always sincere, always kind, always makes you feel like you're the most valued person in the room. And I truly appreciate the fact that this is a family and he really has always made me feel special. Well, I think it was my most embarrassing memory of that happened to me, not to him. I was walking off the stage after valediction, and as we left the hall, I was just in front of him off the stage. My sash from my academic gown fell to the floor, and I stepped out of it very inconspicuously, I thought, only to be teased about that for many years after that event. And I think Graham's sense of humor, that sense of professionalism, with his kindness, is something that I'll always treasure. I think quiet strength, I think boldness. For me, it's that visionary ability as well. I don't think our school would be where it is right now without the online school. And he started that, and if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have been ready for COVID. So that visionary ability, his quiet strength, that boldness to make the dream come true. He's taught me how to dream, but the most, I think, if I sum it up in one thing, it would be quiet strength and kindness.
Sure, I really enjoyed him as a boss, and I've gotten to know him better working on exec, a little bit closer with him. But I think at my previous school, the executive head, I had worked there for about 5 years, and I don't even think he knew my name. So when I came to this school, and Graham not only knew my name, but all about me, I think that's his gifting, is learning about people, what makes them tick,
what makes them special and zoning in on that. And I think that's what makes him special. He's such a people person. He's always walking around talking to people, no matter who you are. So I've appreciated that about him.
That's good.
Yeah, I second that relational thing. I think coming from being in the school, it doesn't actually feel like he is my boss. You know, because he knows the ins and outs of your life. He knows what's happening with your family. He's always asking, how's your mom? How's your dad? How's family? And it doesn't feel like a typical boss situation. It just feels like someone who genuinely just matters and cares about your well-being. And that's really nice to have.
Yeah, I think I've appreciated how Graham's always put us first. And always wants to make sure that you are taken care of as a person, a whole person, whether it be your personal life or your work environment or, you know, he's always done that, and it comes out and it comes through, and it just makes life so much easier, and it makes coming to work so much more exciting, and you just love waking up every day knowing that you get to come here and there's a boss that really cares about you. Yeah.
Something that I think I've learned from him is also that care, and that, you know, when he stops to say good morning to you, he stops, you know, doesn't just walk past and say good morning as you go past, like it's so often so easy to do. And I think that's something that I've learned, is actually stop, greet the person, and feel like you're actually taking time to say hello, how are you? And so that personal thing is definitely a really big thing, and it's really molded how I've tried to do relationships since I got here as well.
That how you doing is genuine, not a ticking of a box.
Yeah. When I first started at the school, I finished at my previous school on the Tuesday afternoon, and I walked in here on Wednesday morning. No time to process, like leaving my first job of 12 years, and, you know, no time to get over that and then start a new one here. So when I walked in, I was so super excited to be here, but also so like, I think it just hit me as I walked in. I was like, wow, that was 12 years of my life like this, and now I'm here. And when I left my previous school, my previous boss didn't even greet me on the day that I left, and I'd been on the executive and whatever. And I walked in here, and he's standing outside reception waiting for me. Hey, Sarah, come in, let me make you, would you like tea? Would you like coffee? And I was just like, wow, what is happening here? And that's just set the tone, and that's just been so what the school is. And I think it's just because that's what Graham is and who he is, and it just filters down into everybody else.
Even I felt in my first year of teaching here, I made a mistake. I had messaged an outside therapist, and I said, sure, you know, I'm frustrated with these parents. They're not doing the homework, you know, with the child or whatever. And just normally trusting our internal therapist, thought there was a relationship, you know, that information wouldn't go anywhere. And they shared it with the parents, which was just not cool. But that obviously caused, you know, big conflict between the parents and the school and myself, and I realized, you know, I had messed up or whatever. But in that process, even having messed up, Graham had my back, you know, and that for me was just such a beautiful start to the relationship with the school and the staff, and Graham looking out for you even when you make mistakes like that, fighting for you, was just, and it's continued. And I know that's something that the staff really appreciate about Graham and his leadership, is he fights for his staff. He doesn't let parents override them. I know some private schools, it's that thing of the parents are paying so they get the loudest say, and it's certainly not the case at our school, and I appreciate that.
I wouldn't say there's a particular one memory of Graham that is fond, but it's all the little cumulative interactions with him and jokes that have developed, that he always teases me about the high school that I went to, or the fact that you're from KZN, or little remarks about 3CI. But they're about me and where I am in my life, and it's just those little interactions that have all sort of like built up together, you know.
And Graham, I know that spa is over there. He always teases me that I don't know. I point and he's like, no, it's over there.
So he does. He makes a point of like finding a point of humor with you.
Yeah, I think it's also not one particular memory, but a string of memories, and I'll always remember him now. I mean, even in adult form, it sounds weird to even say this, but he was always like my grandpa figure at school, so to say. Like this tiny little human running around. He knew my mom, and he would always like stop me, and he'd smile on his face, and like I'll just picture that genuine bending down and be like, how are you? How are you doing? And it's just that thing of knowing I have my teachers and I have my mom, but here's like another figure for me to look up at, and that's always just how I see him and picture him now. It's that genuine care and genuine heart, and I think that's the memory that will always stick behind. Yeah.
It's so funny because I had the same thought.
Yeah.
That he's like a little grandpa that just wants to do.
It sounds so bad to say, but
This is like Sparky's there.
There's two spas, Chris.
I don't know the
Wait right now.
These people put on this.
Sorry, I said that so confidently, and I was like, oh damn. Sorry, you can just
I'm talking about how. Sorry. That he is like a grandpa, and that he just wants to. Sometimes I just feel like he wants to spoil us. And there's like a cappuccino machine, and now there's a popcorn, and then there's slushies, and it's like. It's lavish and it's generous and it's
cup overflows.
Yeah, and it really has impacted me in the way that I also relate to my colleagues, and the way I treat other people here has definitely been impacted by him in that way.
I love how approachable he is. Being the executive head, he's so busy, and yet he always makes time to just come and listen to whatever it is you want to quickly ask him or talk about or whatever. Never been turned away. And I just appreciate that I've never felt silly or never felt like he's too busy to deal with this thing now or whatever. And his heart is genuinely about people and making them happy and making sure they're satisfied at work. And appreciation. He's so big on appreciation. No matter what job you do, he always sends you a thank you afterwards. He sees you, and I think that is a gifting of his.
Yeah, I second that. I think there's not something, whether it's small or big, that goes past that isn't recognized or noticed by him, and that's huge. I mean, everyone is always doing something every single day. So for someone to be able to point out whether it's big or small and personally message you, I still remember we did the B play and I got a message afterwards and I looked at Keegan and I'm like, Keegan. Mr Holloway just messaged me. Like, it's so weird. Well, you think it's so weird, but actually it's so beautiful, and it's something that it's just phenomenal that you are able to. It blows my mind that you can take something mundane and make such a big moment out of it by just simply popping a message and being intentional about reaching the one. And I think that's something that we must.
I just appreciate also how he inserts himself into everything in the school, from preschool to high school to mid-mod trips to whatever. He's there for it all. It doesn't matter the age group, again, which I think you don't get at every school either. The fact that he attends almost every event is, I don't know how he does it.
It was actually, I was at mini sports with my son earlier this term, and we're just so used to seeing him at those things, and Dan and I actually said like, hey, have you seen Graham this morning yet? And we were like, no, that's weird. You must be really busy to not be here, because you usually do see them at places. I think something that I will really miss is like, Graham is a real servant leader in how he deals with things, but more importantly than that, like God is always first for him, and he's never afraid to make a difficult decision or to make the unpopular decision if he doesn't feel that it's not the right decision. And that's, the school kind of runs on this, what's God's doing in this and what's he saying in this first, and then Graham just falls in line with that, and that's a real big thing for a leader to do.
I think I'm just going to miss his presence around, and his whenever he tells a story, he goes, that thing. And just the interactions and the conversations that you get to have, whether it be about buying a new car or whatever's happening in the children's lives. And he knows also about all of the kids, which is outrageous, actually. That's a lot of children to know about. I barely keep track of my handful sometimes.
He's a special man.
Yeah.
We love you, Graham.
Bye. I've actually said to other people that he's been my best boss to work for, my favorite boss to work for. I think it's because he's genuine. He's down to earth. He's a straight shooter. So, and I enjoy that about. I know where I stand. I know how to get things done with him, and that's excellent.
I would also say he's one of the best bosses I've worked for. Also because there's an open book. you're not gonna wonder what he said or, you know, what did he mean by that. He tells you exactly what he means, and yeah, you walk out there knowing what is expected of you.
Yeah, he's also definitely been my best and favorite boss, because he's really a people's person and he cares about you. He's not just here to, you know, I mean, he's here to run a school, obviously, but he runs it from the heart, not as a business. And he puts people's like their feelings, and you know, he just puts people first above everything else.
So
yes, he always forgets his passwords.
Yes. Every single night.
He's put that in the video.
I think a funny moment was, I've met him before, but he didn't meet my son Jesse. Jesse was 5 at that time, and so Jesse was doing the Gurdy, that dance move, and I was so embarrassed because I mean, you know, it's the executive principal, and he loved it, he laughed and he enjoyed it, and I was like, oh, I'm embarrassed. But just to see that, you know, that he enjoyed it and says, no, he's a child, this is what they do. So that's a funny moment that I remembered. Yeah.
When I started working here, or well, obviously in my interview, I kept calling him Mr. Holloway, and he kept telling me to call him Graham, and I just couldn't call him Graham. And then I told him that it was because I had a principal who was like this very military man, and he you know, like if I think about principals, then I really need to be very respectful and call them Mr. whatever. And then Debbie was very quick to tell me that Graham was not a military man. So his greetings in the hallway, and his kind heart and his generosity.
I was also going to say that the generous heart that he looks at things, you know, that frame of mind. I've never met anybody like that. That's special.
Yeah, for me it's his generosity, his kindness, and he makes, even if he's busy or running towards another, that's why sometimes maybe he's late for his other meetings, because he takes time to, you know, take time to greet you properly and find out how you're doing. And I think that I'm gonna miss him.
It's been a great journey. It's been a long journey for me, and I think just always having someone that you can respect and look up to, someone who's got that much more experience and who loves the Lord. It's been a great experience. I think one of the fondest memories is probably just our arrival in Pretoria, being welcomed up here. We left all our family behind in KZN, and it was just a really warm welcome arriving here, making sure that we were settled in. And ever since then it's been great. I think it's going to be some of the quirky sayings and just the having a joke for every occasion. I'm really gonna miss those. So hi Graham, it's been a long journey since KZN days, and we've been through some thick and thin between then and now, and I just want to thank you for all the years that we've been working together. I've got a poem that I'm going to read which captures some of my thoughts about you. I'll take credit for the words, but I did have ChatGPT help with the structure, so I won't take full credit for the poem, but here goes. A builder of schools, a builder of souls. From Hilton's halls where science shone to Maritzburg Christian you journeyed on, then found at Hatfield Christian's gate a place to serve, to dream, create. For 26 bright, faithful years you built with vision, sweat and tears. Classrooms rising, strong and tall, a pool, a pitch, a home for all. Yet more than bricks or beams of stone, your truest work was hearts alone. A shepherd's care, a listening ear, a counsel steady, wise, sincere. You birthed new ways to learn and grow, long before the world would know. An online school ahead of time, 1,200 strong, its reach sublime. Unspoken gifts your hands would give, so others too might learn and live. Blessing, training, seeds of grace you scattered wide in every place. A weaver of networks, warm and keen, you've lit each room where you have been, with jokes that sparkle, stories shared, and gentle strength that showed you cared. Persuasive, if the staff is right, You drew out service, love, delight for decades now. The fruit is clear. The legacy won't disappear. So here's to you, your steadfast ways have filled the years with joy and praise, a builder, leader, friend and guide, with Christ as anchor, light and tide. Just pray that the Lord would bless and keep you in the season ahead, Graham. Thank you.
For me, my experience working with Graham has always just been incredibly special. He created a family, and we all got to benefit from it. And not just that, the kids in my class benefited from it. My family benefited from it. He taught us how to love our colleagues well, and that everyone is seen as equals. And it's just been so special. And I think, well, I feel very privileged and blessed because of that. Because it's gonna be, it's shot seeds into my heart, and it's gonna have a lasting impact. Okay, so this was when I came for my interview years ago. Sheesh. He asked me, and I was just gonna be a student teacher, so an assistant teacher, and then he asked me how much I was earning at that stage, because it was really nothing, and I just looked at him and I said, peanuts, but I'm not doing it for this peanuts, I'm doing it for the peanuts in front of me. And he laughed, and I think that's why I got the job. So it might be because he has a good sense of humor. I think he's super intentional with the way that he interacts with people. And it's just so beautiful. It's beautiful to be a part of, and you feel, when you're in Graham's presence, you feel loved and you feel seen. So that's something I will miss, but I think it's also created opportunity for us to be and do the same.
Graham's awesome. It's been such a pleasure working with Graham at the church, and obviously at the school as well. He's just a pleasure to work with. I think his generosity, his wisdom, just getting stuff done, and just his pastoral heart, ridiculous. So that would be definitely my favorite things about Graham. I think for me, there was a moment where I came into my job as the general manager of the church, and I remember Graham just giving me some wisdom. And it was like this moment of, Graham, thank you. You've just helped me so massively. I'll never forget that moment. I'm so appreciative of that moment as well. It's one of my real fond memories and favorite moments. It's his pastoral heart. He always wants to care for people. He's deeply generous, kind. So I'm really gonna miss him being in the building and interactions at church as well. So it would be big time,
Working with Mr. Holloway was like a refreshing holiday, even though we come to work every time and it's so stressful, because he just always brought some calmness. Every time you saw him, he would greet you, and it would just be like, just breathing, like just calmness and just peace. That's what he just brought with him. So this is one that every time he sees me, he will always remind me of it. He invited me to his house once, and he gave me food that gave me food poisoning. So it's a bittersweet moment, because he always reminds me, so I'm reminding him back of that. But that is one of the fondest memories of it. I think it's more so him reminding me always than the actual memory itself. Yeah, I think it will be his willingness to help. I've never experienced that, because I'm always okay, if there's a problem, I must find the solution. But every time with Mr. Holloway, he always is like, Tuki, why didn't you come to me first? And I'm just like, I didn't know I could. I thought I had to figure it out by myself. So it's just that, like his willingness to always go the extra mile to help me, to make sure I'm okay with my job, to make sure I'm happy as well. I think, that is definitely something I'll miss. I'm going to tear up, so let me stop.
It was an honor and a privilege working with Graham, because I think throughout the years, so I've worked for more than 20 years with Graham, I think the thing that stands out for me is his genuine care for people, his compassion and his understanding, and the way that he has always supported me. And not only me, but me and my children and my family through many difficult times and difficult pupils and difficult parents. He's always supported me. So I think And I think one of the most important things is that he's always been a safe space, someone that you can go to with anything. Yeah, I have so many. I think I'm going to choose a funny one. We went down to Grahamstown to do training with teachers for the online school, and it was the first time Graham had ever driven an electric car. And just that whole experience and how he struggled with that was just quite an entertainment thing. But I think another memory, I'm just going to mention two. Another one was when I told him that I wanted to go teach in China and I was going to resign. And he did not try and dissuade me. He just said to me, if that is what God wants you to do, then that is what you must do. And throughout everything, with all the times I'm thinking, maybe I must go there, maybe I must go there, he has always put me first before the school. He gave me space to follow where God was leading me. So that is one of my memories, and that's his authentic care and Christianity and Christian values. I think I will miss the way he comes up to a person and he puts his hand on your shoulder and he looks at you and he says, "How are you, Valerie?" In a way that makes me think he really, really cares how I am. And he's really, really cared for every child in the school, every teacher in the school, and I think it's that I will miss more than the executive principal role, but just the kind-hearted, genuine, sincere, caring Graham.
So for me, it's been a wonderful experience. I think I always say Graham is so unlike any boss that I've ever had. He's got such a kind heart. He's got an open door always. He's just, I always say, like, he's such a friend to people, but people still really respect his authority. And to have that combo is not something that you find easily. So, yeah, in a nutshell, it's been wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, working at the church, so I don't work like directly with Graham in the school, but I've obviously worked with him on productions and that type of stuff. I must agree with you, love, he's one of the most unique packages of people, you know. He's like, if Graham has an idea, boy, nothing will stop him from achieving his goal and his idea. But he doesn't do it in a tyrannical way. He doesn't do it in a way where you feel like, this is a bit hectic. He does it in the most gracious way. And yes, yeah, I've never actually found those two in somebody, you know, all in one. I've always found it like you either one or the other, even in nice ways, but Graham is just like the perfect, you know, amalgamation of those two things. Yeah.
You know, he loves telling jokes.
Oh.
The types of jokes he tells. I think for us, just through some hectic times that we've been through, I think just the way they've been there for us, him and Debbie, I think that for me would be a very fond memory. It's just the love and the care that they've shown us.
You know, if I think back, you know, specifically on the productions we've done, thinking that, and you would have been there many times, the after party, I mean, I've chatted with him after that and it's like midnight and he says, yeah, no, I'm back in 6 hours because I'm at the junior primary, you know, athletics event. You know, just the memory that I have of him just being like all in. Doesn't matter what's happening, time of day and night. He'll text you with stuff at like 10 minutes past midnight going into the new year. Happy New Year, dude. Oh, and by the way, I've been thinking about this, you know. Those memories are actually fantastic. You know? And then, of course, the jokes that he sends me. He sends me such funny stuff that he finds funny, and I think it's hilarious. So we share a similar sense of humor.
You know, the fact that he has like a chessboard in his office and that people can just go in or he sits and plays chess with people. That openness, the safe space that he's been, I think, for everybody. Yeah, just the calmness, how he handles things. You just always knew he's got your back in it, and like I said, he's really been a safe space for us.
Yeah, Ange would come home and say to me, yeah, Graham, it's like every day he's coming around, just chatting, checking in with everyone. So he's always got time for that. And then at the same time, you know that he's involved in a lot of really intense conversations, high-end conversations, but he's always stopping for the one person, you know, and that just, it amazes me about him. Shows his generosity of heart. Incredible man. Yeah.
And as a principal, he carries so much and is involved in things that's so hectic, but it never shows. You know, he just stays like this. He just treats people the same all the time. So I think that's amazing to have.
That's true. The only way I think it shows is like every year there's a few more grey hairs.
Or a few less.
Or a few less.
A few less hair.
A few less hair.
I think for me, it was really special having someone who honestly cares about you. My family went through a lot in the beginning stages of my school career, and most people would just, you know, push you to the side and be like, you need to be stronger, you need to get over it, and that kind of thing. And he was really such a rock, especially for my dad. He was a real support structure to him. He helped us, he was there for us, he encouraged us. So it was really special to have someone who actually cares about the students, who's not just there for the money or for the I work here because wara wara. He was genuinely someone who cared for us. So I think that's something that I will keep with me. So he was very close to my family, to my family's heart, and he took us actually as a family to Mustang Sally's back in, I think when I was in like grade 9 or something. He took my dad and my two brothers. We all went to Mustang Sally's with him, and it was just, I bragged about it. I was like, the principal took me to Mustang Sally's. So it was so special. I have another one actually. When I was in grade 0, right when stuff started to go a little bit pear-shaped, I took money from a kid because I was like, I want more at the tuck shop or at the cake sale. I took money and my dad got called in and everything, and he came in and he was like, you know, you can't actually do that, and wada. But it was just the way he was, you know, he was so gentle about it. He wasn't like reprimanding you and everything, and I think that just encapsulates his spirit. He's so gentle, even when a child steals money from another child. He's so gentle, he's so loving, and he's such a father figure to so many. So, yeah, I think it's his caring heart. He's, like I said in the previous question, he's not just here because it's his job. He genuinely cares for you, he genuinely loves you, and it's so nice having such a supportive boss who actually cares about your needs, who wants to know how you are. Is there anything I can help you with? How can I go the extra mile? And I think that's something that I want to do for my students, is let them know that I'm not just here because I'm getting paid to do it. I'm here because I want to go the extra mile for you. I want to be there for you like he was there for me. Yeah.
I often felt really supported and seen. Graham always took time to greet you when he passes you in the hallways, and I felt really cared for. Probably when my old car got stuck in a parking lot because I forgot the lights on, and I remember being quite amazed that the headmaster of my school would take time to jumpstart my car at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't think I'll forget that. I think it's Graham's wisdom. I remember the one day there was a bit of, not animosity, but scratchiness. It's that time of year, just like the end of the year. And Graham asked in the staff room that we would just remember that there's always a gap between that which you know and that which is happening in the background, because in a school setup you always have somebody talking about something, you know, people get upset but they don't have the full story. And I remember Graham just asking, can we just fill the gaps with trust? Because if you trust that I've thought of the things, or maybe if you think that I haven't thought of the thing that is upsetting you, come and talk to me rather, and trust that I have your best interest at heart as well, rather than filling the gaps with your own ideas of what's behind what's happening. So I think that open door policy where he would always say, if there's anything you'd like to know, if you feel like you're privy to the information of whatever is happening, please come and speak to me. But otherwise, if it's not your place to know, fill the gaps with trust. I think stuff like that, where there's wisdom that we can. I think having just been in the school system for so long, there's a lot of wisdom that I think, I'll miss from him.
Sure, I think it's been so cool. It's the first school that I've worked at it for a year, and I think it's so cool to have a boss who backs you, and I think when you know that you feel safe, and I think that's really been a cool place for me to be. So I think working with Graham's just been, it's cool to feel backed. Fondest memory is like a month old actually now, but a couple weeks ago, my alarm was going off at the Hazelwood Food Market, and I actually couldn't go with my alarm driving, and so Graham came to help. And then eventually we couldn't fix it, so he bought me coffee and breakfast, and I was like, thank you. I think just seeing him walk past you, and he always stops. He's never too busy for you. So every time I see him, he genuinely asks, he's like, Tiffany, how are you? And I think you feel really well seen. And so, I think I'll definitely miss that.
Working with Graham was incredible. I've been at Hatfield, I've been part of Hatfield since 2007, when I first got a job here. And working with Graham has called out deeper and more creative things in me, working with him and being part of his team. Working with him, I feel safe. I felt seen. I felt loved. I felt, I just felt I could be who I was, and I didn't need to change to fit into any model of schooling. And I felt that he loved me and accepted me and encouraged me just who I was and who I am as a person and as a teacher. So my fondest memory, I have many fond memories, but what comes to mind first is there's a guy, Ryan Waterston, when he was here at Hatfield, he was just here for a while. But I remember I think he was chosen as to be a swimmer in the swimming team, and he didn't have a costume. So I remember, I don't know what the real story is, but I know this is something Graham would have done, but I think he did do it. He went out to a shop, he told Ryan to come with him, he went out, he bought Ryan a costume and swimming goggles and a swimming cap and a towel, I even think. So that is the memory that stands out the most for me about Graham, that he would, like I said, why was it nice working with him, that he sees me, but I know he sees the children that he's meant to see, that God puts on his heart, and he's obedient to the prompting of the Holy Spirit to see, and his eyes are open to those specific children. And I also greatly value that he accommodates people who can't pay the school fees. I know he's so gracious to those people, and there's a little family in my class, and I was so touched by how this happened. They owe so many thousands of rand, and he's just kept saying, it's fine, let them come, let them come. And I know it puts pressure on the finance department, but it's just things like that I value in Graham, and I know that it's the Holy Spirit that has worked deeply in him for him to be this type of a gracious and generous man. He often looks to me when I pass him in the corridor. He's got this cute way of, I don't know if cute's the word, but he's got this way of looking at me, and he always says Charisse, and then it's as if he's expecting something funny to come from me, or something quirky or something, but just that he knows me, and he knows that that's inside of me, that he knows that, I don't know, he sees me, and so I also want to just add this,
When I started working here in 2000, I think it was 2007. It was long ago, and then I had children, but there was a break between when I first worked here. I remember I got the position, and it was just so overwhelming for me, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I can do sports on a Saturday, and I was just overwhelmed. So I thought, okay, no, that's God, I don't have peace about it. But meanwhile, it was just actually me and my insecurities. And I remember Graham phoning me quite consistently. I think you need to take this position. I'll make it work for you. You don't have to do sports on Saturdays or something. But just that he pursued me, and with him pursuing me, like, it's opened, I'm going to become emotional now. It's opened a huge trajectory for my sons to be at Hatfield, because I became a teacher here and I saw what it was like, and I thought, I want to come back here. So I'm grateful to Graham, who saw that in me and pursued that, because he knew what Hatfield and God would do in my life and in my sons' lives if I was to work here. So thank you, Graham, and thank you.
Working with Graham was so special, just the way that he treated me. I never once felt like he was a boss in a hierarchical sense of the word. I always felt that he treated me as a person and someone he cared for. It was a pleasure to work with him. I could always go and speak to him. He always had time for me. He was always gentle with me, always willing to offer advice and care. So I've never worked for someone like that before in my life. So very, very, very special. Graham took me very seriously and my personal life very seriously, and really went out of his way to look after me and my wife in a very difficult time. And I will never forget that, and I will always be grateful for that. It really just shows the godly person that he is. Someone was sharing with me the other day about Graham and described him perfectly, that he's a shepherd. So he goes after the lost sheep and he brings them in very gently and kindly. So he's done that for me a few times. And just him being so open and generous with his time and his wisdom. So, pleasure working with him. I loved seeing him, every time he played the school song, he would worship. It was always a fun memory for me, just his confidence in leading the school in worship and just enjoying himself. Always loved seeing him do that. And to have a headmaster who supports the arts like he does and have the full backing of the musical, it's very, very special. So I think that's a fun moment. And then a couple times I would laugh because he would call me someone else who used to work here. So that's a running joke of ours. Apparently this person looked like me as well. So but many, many fond memories, but I think those are some of the good ones. It'll be his sense of humor. He knows how to make jokes and also take jokes. So I'll miss that about him. I'll miss his gentle way and his quiet and strong leadership, which is such an example to me as a man. I'll miss his humility and keeping things very simple and to the point and showing from the heart. There's no razzmatazz about Mr. Holloway, and he's such a sincere person, so I'll miss that about him.
I would like to say that it was or is
It has been authentic. It has been just so many highs and lows, but mostly really just authentic engagement, I think, comes to my mind.
I think for me too. Graham's incredibly approachable, and you can go and chat to him about anything. So I was thinking this morning, you know, when you say you're in the trenches together, I feel like we've been down some deep, dark coal mines in the last few years, and I've always felt safe with Graham. And the way that he handles people in the most difficult situations with the utmost grace and humility. I think I've learned more about leading people from Graham than any other single environment at work. He's been an amazing role model.
I've got a funny one. I still have the video. It was, was it COVID when we did that dance with Alison Janet?
Yes.
It was the
Jerusalem.
Yeah. And I still have the video, and I was videoing him and Alison from behind, and Alison was trying to teach him the dance moves. And there is zero coordination. There is just nothing. And Alison tried for about half an hour and eventually gave up. I don't actually know if he was in the
I think so.
in the dance in the end.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the funniest movie that I have.
I think Graham being game for anything, you know. I remember him lying in the kindergarten playground, literally lying on the ground, surrounded by little people who were all pushing and prodding, and he was chatting to them. And that was just such a delightful kind of capturing of, you know, how he relates to people of all ages. I've got another funny memory that I appreciate a lot. I'm a bit ashamed to admit that I love slapstick comedy, and it's like not really professional. I don't know why. And we discovered that we both really enjoyed Leon Schuster. So we went to movies one night, Debbie and Graham and Rob and myself, and we get to the movies and a whole lot of movies showing. And Rob and Debbie went off to some really serious drama. And Graham and I went to watch one of Leon Schuster's slapstick. And I just thought, you know, where in the world would you not be embarrassed to go to a slapstick movie with your boss and feel that it was, you know. So yeah, I think Graham's sense of humour and the fact that he's kept me fed with good reading for the last few years on all kinds of topics, and I so appreciate that.
Actually, it just came to me now. It was when I first came to Hatfield, however many years ago, 16, 17 years ago. And we went camping. I'm just trying to think who it was all with. The Pinars were there. We went to this farm. There were goats and whatever. And this farmer pulled out his 4x4 and put a rubber mat, attached this rubber mat to the back of his bakkie, and all the kids sat on this. So it was my 3 boys and Jessica and Daniel. I don't know how come maybe Mark, Ant and Georgia were there. I can't remember who the other, there was another family. And all these kids, they were little, they were like ranged from 4 years old up to probably about 10, 11, and they were all on this black rubber matting, and there Graham was sitting in the middle, exactly what you just said, sitting in the middle of all these kids being pulled around the farm with it. It was beautiful. It was actually a lovely memory from when the kids were tiny. I would like to say, for me, the most important one would be the open door policy. Be able to really just say what I feel, when I feel it, and know that it's a safe place.
And Graham always has time. Like, even though, you know, his time is so full, he never makes you feel like that he doesn't have a few moments for you. I think there's something I'll miss. Graham has a way of persuading people to do things. So he sort of goes, Sandra, and then you know what's coming, and you know you're not going to be able to say no. And I've been trying to imitate that. and try and get people to do things, but I don't think I'll ever get it right. Graham just has a way of charming people in a really good way to do what's best for the greater good and for the community.
It has been amazing, and what I really appreciate about Graham is that he's such a natural leader, and he takes you along with him. And he took my whole family, my 3 children, and he gave me the opportunity to teach again when I told him that I would never teach again. When I arrived from Hermanus in 2006, I said I'd never teach again. I'd rather switch on a computer for somebody or make a cup of tea. And yet when a post became available the following year, he did open it up. I mean, I came for the interview, obviously, but just that to me has always been like incredible, and that he's ever peaceful. You know, he's never in a fluster, unlike myself, and he's steadfast with purpose, and he sees potential in people. I think I've said that. He sees potential in people when they don't see it, and for the children as well. He's always got time to say hello, and I just so appreciate that. I think the fact that Graham was prepared, he would not often, I mean, it's not like I can even tell you how often, but he's prepared to even come into my class, and I taught grade 0 and grade 1, and he would come in if he didn't know somebody's name, or he had the name and not the picture of the child. He'd say, can I just pop in? I just want to see who this child is, and connect the face and the name. And for a headmaster that's got so much responsibility to care about the littlest person in our school, I think speaks volumes. And and he's always, to this day, you know, he checks in, make sure that you're right. And even when as a family we went through an incredibly hard time, he stood by us, and it wasn't that he had to check in with me every day, but deep down at the back I knew Graham had my back, and he was there. I think his kind heart and his approach, you can approach him about anything. And Graham's not scared, and I'm quite scared of parents, especially an angry parent. I'm terrified of them. They're not my favorite person to deal with. But Graham is he's as cool as a cucumber when it comes to that. And I remember right in the beginning, when there was a little girl that I really felt needed to repeat. She was a whole year younger, and her birthday was right at the end of the year, and she was tiny, and there were just so many things. And there was so much pressure put on her by her parents. And I went to him and I said, I'm really concerned about this little person. And he said, no, come, let's have a meeting with the parents. And he just, in such a kind way, explained it to them. And they could see his point of view, could see our point of view. I mean, they did opt to take the child away from our school, but unfortunately that happened. But it never fazed Graham. And so I think that's it,
Working with Graham was one of the most incredible experiences. He was an authentic man. He was sensitive to people's needs. He was a provider. He provided a very secure environment for all of us to work in, and he genuinely cared about us. So it was nice to work with someone like him. He was a boss, but at the same time he was able to just walk into your down into your shoes. My fondest memory of Graham would definitely be the day that he called me to deliver the news that I'm hired at Hertford Christian School. That's the conversation I will never forget, because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. So, and also, I like it when he says a speech, and then now he shares about his family. That part of him is going to share something very fun, and then say, and don't tell Debbie I shared this, and then, I like that because he was very funny at the same time. Oh, I will miss the fact that when you talk to Graham, he will do this. You know what I'm thinking, and then you just know there's a solution. There's a solution to the problem, no matter what the problem is. And I will miss his heart. He had a heart for the school, a heart for us, a heart for the kids. He didn't just know me as an employee, but he took time to know my family too. That I will miss.
Graham, you are a gifted musician, And from the music side of the school, we really want to thank you for all your support and encouragement over the years. And today we want to bless you by singing the song.
The more I trust Him, the more I love Him. Nothing good for me till now. The longer I know Him, the better I can show Him. I couldn't stop now if I tried. Oh, we get sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter as the moments fly. His love is richer, richer, deeper, deeper, fuller, sweeter, 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 sweeter as the days go by. The moment He saved me, His good grace He gave me, makes His love go deep in my heart. It's great joy in knowing with Him I am going, and never more from Him to depart. Oh, we get sweeter as the days go by. It gets sweeter as the moments fly. His love is richer, richer, deeper, deeper, fuller, sweeter, 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 sweeter as the days go. Sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the days go. Sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the days go by.
Graham, for a lack of time, we won't sing another song, but I just want to speak such a beautiful song over you today. Jesus is your portion. He's your constant friend. And as His eyes are on the sparrows, we know that He watches over you and Debbie and your family.